And it's Thrive Studio for Tuesday, the 9th of June. And how are you today? After a long weekend, maybe some relaxation, hopefully, and some rest, even though we had a lot of influences on the way we were thinking over the weekend. I'd like to share something that I did with you last week. We talk to many, many guests, and tonight it's just me. So aren't you lucky? It's just you and me. Very intimate, very personal. Our Thrive Studio is a place where we can extend our thinking. And tonight I'd like to share with you something that I think is really very poignant for this point in time. I came across a beautiful, absolutely stunning piece of music last week by a beautiful young girl, Morgan Harper Nichols, and I'd just like to share it with you because it really made an impact. So I must admit, I did post this on LinkedIn and Facebook last week, and I thought it was just too good not to do again tonight. So I'm asking for your understanding. I'm asking for some energy of goodwill and generosity in all the sadness and darkness that the world is experiencing. So I'm all about leadership, and I do believe that we don't have to be a leader who's front of stage. We can be someone who's in the middle. We can be someone who is an incidental or an accidental leader. But I do believe leaders are revealing themselves at the moment. So with that as my intent, this is what I'd like to share with you. It's entitled Empathy. Let me hold your hand. The door for you. I may have never walked in your shoes, but I can see your soles are worn. Your strength is torn under a weight of a story that I have never lived before. Let me hold the door for you. After all you've walked through, it is the least that I can do. It's absolutely beautiful. And I must say, I did shed a few little teardrops as well when I read that. And I keep going back to it because I think the lyrics are able to say so much that's in all of our hearts. We've had marches here in Australia, across the world. We still have populations being affected by the COVID virus. There is a lot that is in disturbance, and the energy from us all is palpable. There's much anger, and there's a lot of grieving at the same time. And if we had the crystal ball, it would be magic. But you know what? The crystal ball is inside all of us. And what I'd like to talk a little bit more about tonight is this notion of your choice as a leader. How do we cultivate passion and purpose and joy? There still will be some joy in all that we do. I've been, like you, reading some social posts, listening to the news, current affair programs. I have many friends, many colleagues who are in education, of which I had quite a significant amount of time with. And it's very interesting listening what you can observe about others and what we're listening to and what the tone is. Our frontline populations, work populations, our police, our nurses, and our educators have been absolutely amazing. Quite selfless, very, very worried about themselves and their families, but even more passionate about the work that they do. And it really becomes a vocation of service, doesn't it? So let's have a think about, if you're a leader, what choices do you have at the moment? Yeah, there's plenty and plenty of information around, but let's have a little go. If we're cultivating joy and purpose, let's have a look at what it is that we can do. You've heard me before. You've heard me talk about these skills about leading ourselves and leading others. So we need to have a great self-awareness, which leads us then to being able to understand or being aware of those that we work with. Now, there's been plenty of times in my life where I think maybe I don't have any self-awareness. We're all human. Tomorrow is a new day. And if we keep repeating the same mistakes, well, then we have a bit of a problem, don't we? But in hindsight, it can be painful. But if we are looking to be the best we can be and show up at our best each day, well, then we are going to be different. We're going to take a message or a lesson from those around us. So we do have a choice for leaders in this current climate. What's the future holding for us? Well, we will be doing things differently. We will be listening far more. So two of these, or one of those. And I'm a good talker. And sometimes, you know what, that advice monster just pops up. So the trap will be getting out of the trap or being aware of the trap. So self-awareness and awareness of others. We really want to look through a different lens. We don't want to be tunnel vision and always doing the same thing. So what else is it that we're going to be doing? We're going to be able to say to our colleagues, you know, what is it that you need from me as a leader? Not you, the leader, saying to them, listen, this is what I need you to do. There will be a place for close direction. However, on the whole, our collaborative coaching style is what is going to make all the difference. So what is it that you ask your team, the people that you lead, that gives you information about their needs and what you need to do for them? That's our job. That's our choice as well. What is it that they need right now that's help with? Whether it is managing their family, managing working remotely, because looking at the media today, the car parks in the city of Sydney haven't been filled as expected. There are limited people using public transport, yes, but people are still staying home to work or finding a place that is more suitable for them at this present moment. So it's interesting what working remotely or working from home might be looking like in the future. There might be some very, very interesting changes that are occurring. As leaders, we've got choices. We can direct, as we talked a bit about before, or we can ask the questions. You know what? It depends on the type of questions we ask. We want open-ended questions. We don't necessarily want a question that we're going to get a yes or a no answer to. What use is that? We need to know what are the best questions. And the best questions usually start with something that's as succinct as, what's your challenge? What's your current challenge? Tell me about it. And then that magnificent question, I love it, the AWE question, AWE, and what else? And start sounding like a record player, a repeat. Ask it about 4 times. And what else? Tell me more. And what else? And that sends your hearing into overdrive. You're also watching for body language, facial expressions, whether you've got facial smiling going up, whether you've got creasing in the eyes, whether you've got a frown running across your forehead, or that of the other person near you. It also gives you an intel when you're asking the AWE question as to what body posture is like as well, whether there's any tap, tap, tap of the feet on the floor, or maybe a pen in a hand going tap, tap, tap. All those type of things are great ways to pick up on what it is your colleagues or your team members, the people you're working with, what they perhaps aren't saying verbally, but are saying in their body language. So we've looked at self-awareness, awareness of others, asking the questions, 2 great questions there. The questions, what is challenging now? What is your greatest challenge at the moment? Shows you care. Empathy, caring. We could even say it's love and respect. So some of you will think that I'm a little bit wishy, but you know what? When people feel valued for the work they do, you find that they give above and beyond what it is you expect. It's priceless. It's the gold. Right, let's have a look at, and I've got some notes as you can tell. We need, as the leader, on the other half of the conversation, to be giving back some feedback. And it has to be genuine. Can't be fake. You can't be going, yes, 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 nod, 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 and you're not listening, you're not picking up on anything. We need to be able to give feedback to our colleagues, to our teammates, that we are actually listening and really interested. Our eyes are not flitting around, they're not checking out our watch, whether our iPhone or our iWatch is going off. We're not attending to our phone as well, watching what's happening, saying, oh, excuse me, there's a note on the door. If this is the case, if you are in a one-on-one situation, it is totally you. The total focus is on you. If we're doing these virtually, well, then it is one-on-one, and set yourself up for success. Make sure you're in a closed room. Make sure the note's on the door. Zooming, Microsoft meeting, whatever it is, for the next half an hour, next 15 minutes, whatever. But let people know that what you're doing is important, and it also lets your colleague or your teammate know that they are important. The one-on-ones are amazing. You know, I recently did a program with a primary school, an executive team at a primary school, and we built in a one-on-one session in between our professional learning and our professional development. I've got to tell you, absolutely amazing. That's where the gold starts to happen, where you have a relationship of trust. I don't have anyone to tell. So I'm a really good listener. I can hear what's being said and I can ask the questions that perhaps make someone a little bit uncomfortable. But that's where the gold is. When we're honest with each other, when we're not telling people what to do every step of the way, but we're asking what they think to help them find the solutions or look at the alternatives, well, then isn't that far better? The learning is there and the enjoyment is there and the results are there as well. You know, as a leader, the one-on-ones are important, but each day, a list of who you need to contact is handy to have on your desk. So when you, in your role as manager, or you've got people directly reporting to you, whether you're a coordinator at a school level, whether you're an assistant principal, whether you are vice president, doesn't matter what leadership role you're doing, tapping into people one-on-one is critical. And it doesn't have to be long. It can be as easy as, hi, Carrie. I'm here. How are you going today? Just thought I'd say hi. How are you doing? How was your weekend? Bang. It doesn't have to be long. I'll talk to you again another time. Great to hear your voice. It doesn't have to be long. But the point is that you've got a list there and it keeps you consistent, it keeps you honest, and it means that you also become known for a habit of connection. And that's really what it's all about, isn't it? Leaders connect with the people that they lead and they listen. So I quite like the listening leadership sort of runs together, doesn't it? Right. What about, there are some great ideas going around at the moment. For all our virtual work, you need to have a bit of a rumble every now and then, or some type of hustle. A hub, perhaps. Maybe it's it's the water cooler style, but it's going to be something that's where you share your stories, where you've got a little bit of sense of fun and humour. Now, some of you have already picked up, I like a little bit of music, I like a hat, I like a scarf, you name it, a good meme, a joke. A good belly laugh is always great for team energy and for team morale. I was on a Zoom with Asia last week, and first question they ask, everybody, just as we're starting to introduce each other, think of your favourite song and why, and that's how you're going to introduce yourself. Have you ever been in a group where people have just said, yep, I'm Carrie Benedict and I do blah, blah, blah? That no longer cuts it. So you can introduce yourself through your shoe that you've got on that day. You could introduce yourself through your favourite dessert you had over the weekend. It could be a new dish that you've done. It could be a beautiful poem that you've come across. But you know, music does something for the soul, and it links very nicely to rhythm and to beat. And I like a little bit of music, and because I work around the world, you know, music from different countries is just magic and adds a little bit of flavour. So why not have a hustle, a team meeting, or a team hub, a little huddle that's based on the country that your team belongs to as well. Let's have a look. What else have we got here? So leadership, all about a choice that we have. How we go about being a leader. Many of us are mentors to younger professionals, younger people in our faculties, in our teams, in our workplaces. And the role of a mentor is absolutely amazing as well. So if you have got some aspiring leaders who are needing a challenge, who are needing a little bit of a polish and a sparkle, well, then we may have something just for them. Because at the moment, leadership is all about moving from being fearful into being confident and taking up an opportunity. And that's what we've had over the last couple of months, an opportunity to do something differently. And with all the differences and changes, we do get uncomfortable, and it's not easy. There's a lot of negotiation, particularly in homes and families, a lot of negotiation around space, time, loudness, appropriateness, you name it. But there's also a lot of negotiation around how we're going to still connect and still work. I have the utmost admiration for a number of my colleagues with young children. Mine are no longer young, but I have wee people, and they give me such joy. But I also have been thinking about how difficult and how tiring it must be for them. I get my energy from people. So I have been lucky enough in the last 2 months to continue to travel around the world. And it has been a most amazing event because there are huge challenges for everybody, particularly when you have a business or a team that has been changing very, very quickly, and things have been very difficult for them. When on top of that, we have other layers of information that are affecting us that hit our values, our beliefs and our assumptions, such as the Black Lives Matter walks and information, the number of deaths that are coming out of COVID. These are really large issues. They're not to be discounted. But for your peace of mind as a leader and for you to continue to do what you do in this environment, you need to actually look after yourself as well. And it's not self-indulgent. So if there's something that carriebenedette.com is able to do with you, pop on and have a look. About 12 years ago, my life changed for me when I did a huge walk from the top of the ridge, the Imita Ridge in Papua New Guinea. It was massive. It was not me going to war. It was not me climbing the Himalayas. It was not me with a significant health issue that was terminal or life-threatening. It was by choice that I did this because I knew I wanted to move and do things differently. And I also believed that I had a responsibility. Now, for us, leadership is a choice for many of us. Leadership is also a passion. It is also a huge responsibility. And for all of us at the moment, Thrive Studio is here to look at the small steps we can all make together to move into a future that we aren't quite sure about, but we know will be different to what we've expected. Education's the key, our education, your education, and those of your people. So look for those aspiring leaders. Look what you can do with them. Pop on and have a look at what carriebenedette.com can do as well. Just know that you are precious and you have a huge contribution to make. Doesn't have to be large, can just be little small steps, like sands on the beach. Over to you. Great, and I'm very grateful for your company tonight. Many thanks for everything that you have done for keeping your friends, your family, yourself in some place that is life-giving. You are too precious. Everything that is in our control, we have power over. Things that aren't in our control, that are taking our energy away from us, try and let them go and focus on what it is that you can do, because the gold's in you. Anyway, over to you. I'll see you again for Thrive Studio. Bye for now.